Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to the Blake and
Jake Show.
Glad to have you guys back. During these times, we're feeling very grateful to be able to give back to the community.
Definitely.
You know, be able to coach kids and just teach them the right things on and off the field. So today we decided to talk about just our journey within the game, what we've learned, and just how we got to where we are today as far as coaching these kids and giving back and just being here for the community.
It's a blessing.
Yeah, definitely a blessing. So I think I'll go ahead and start. I'll go ahead and start. You know, for me, grew up, I played baseball, basketball from Tyrone, Georgia. Loved pitching growing up, man. That was definitely my favorite position as far as baseball. I definitely took a liking a little more to basketball and stuff like that. You know, so I kind of focused on basketball and then had the opportunity to see my brother who, when we were in high school, he was the #2 player in the country, man, in baseball. And that just kind of like blew our minds because it just came out of nowhere, you know. So for me, you know, that was pretty cool. And to see him, you know, go and get drafted for baseball, it made me want to go and like inspired to do the same thing he did. So I started taking baseball more seriously. Got the opportunities and played well and was able to, you know, get a scholarship to the University of Kentucky where I signed at, and then later on got drafted and then went into the draft, man. Luckily went to Miami, which was, you know, a great place to go. But on the other hand, maybe it wasn't so great to go because, you know, it's a lot of partying, it's a lot of, you know, just new life for me for a country
distractions.
Boy. Yeah, a lot of distractions for a country boy coming out of Tyrone, Georgia, man. So a lot of that stuff, like, I had never seen before, you know, just, like, being able to, like, have my first drink there to, like, just everything, man.
Culture shock.
Yeah, culture shock, being around guys from other places, other countries, man. It's just the coolest experience ever, man. I know for me, like, went in super nervous playing. I remember the first thing that happened when I first came in, man. I signed late. I go onto the field, and, you know, for me, I see a bunch of black guys, right? So automatically, you know, I kind of walk towards them, and they actually come towards me, and I'm like, dang, okay. And then I go to talk to them, they're speaking nothing but Spanish, man. Oh, all geez. Dominicans, man. It was crazy, but oh man, it blew my mind at first, man. It was just funny, man. But yeah, like going on with that, man. My first year played, had a great time, man. Played really well. I don't know, man. I just got stronger. I just felt good on the mound, you know. Second year went pretty good. Third year, you know, had a great time as well. Up in New York, was playing for Jamestown Jammers. Yeah, man. And that place right there was just like the slowest place I've ever been, even slower than where I was in the country, man. It was just, I think one bar they had, one gas station in the town. Yeah, but I mean, it was a cool experience, man. I mean, it was a cool experience with those guys who were experiencing it with me, those players and stuff like that. That was a pretty good year as well. You know, I met so many people, so many coaches, man. It was just like truly a blessing, like just to be in that position to do that stuff, you know? Yeah. Hang out with friends in the off season, come to California out here, partying in the off season with my agents and other teammates that, other players that had the same agent as me. Yep. But like my fourth year, man, I ran into some trouble as far as like I came into spring training and I got hurt, man. And the worst thing when you're like playing in like pro ball and stuff like that is to basically tell somebody you're hurt.
You're a number on a jersey.
Number on a jersey, man. It's crazy. It's a different kind of perspective on it. It's not like high school. It's not like college where it's like, you know, you're in fear of losing your job just from even being hurt, man.
Yeah, going in depth about that too, about the difference of when you got drafted and when you got to that level, how much different the pressure is to be able to perform and to be able to be consistent at the game as compared to high school or Little League.
Well, I'll tell you this because this is why I tell kids, like, kind of how we talked about last time, like, enjoy this time in your life when you're playing because this is when you're playing worry-free, you know? And once I did get to pro ball, man, it became instantly a job.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and the thought process of a job. If I don't do a good job, then I can be fired. And then it's like, oh, what am I going to go and do? Like, I don't know. So that creeps in your mind and you're thinking about it and you want to play well every time. And ultimately, you can't play well every time. You can be as consistent as possible, but you're not going to play great every game. You know, especially so many games in baseball. So you're not going to play well every game. But it's very nerve-wracking for sure, man. I mean, I went to the point where my third year I had a general manager talking to me, talking about me being in the big leagues and stuff like that. And then I went to my fourth year getting hurt. and no one talked to me. So
was it like one throw?
It was one throw. Spring training, I threw it, I felt it, and which I had never been hurt, seriously injured or anything before, but I felt it, and then I threw another pitch and I felt it again in my shoulder. So then what I did was I told them my back was hurting because I was like, okay, I just need some time. I'm gonna be all right.
A little bit of dead arm, yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna be all right.
Yeah, yep.
You know, and then, you know, I wish I would have just told them, but at that time, I took 2 weeks off from my back, and then when I came back, I tried to throw probably from here to the wall over there. I know you guys can't see the wall, but it's about, what, 15, 20 feet away, and the ball just fell out my hand. Boom, like I couldn't throw it at all. It was so much pain, like when I threw, I could do this all day long, just doing this, but when I put a ball in my hand and I let it go, like a rip, just like excruciating pain right here. So I had to end up telling them, had to do, you know, a bunch of therapy and stuff like that, sat off for a whole year, man. And when I came back, I went from throwing, my good days, I went from throwing 95, 96 to I couldn't even get it past 88. And mentally, this is another reason why we stress the mental toughness and stuff like that. Mentally, it drained me. It drained me to the point where I was not having fun going on the field just because I doubted my abilities and I felt like my abilities. And I'm wondering, why is this happening to me? I'm crying myself to sleep every night. It was really a hard time, you know? The next year after that, I ended up getting released, which is another hard thing. I think I got called in a restaurant, man. I was sitting with friends, man, and who called me? The player personnel dude called me, and it's like I could tell as soon as I answered the phone. And it's like I knew.
Yeah, you knew.
It's like I knew, and I didn't even tell anybody, bro. It was like the saddest day of my life, you know. So went from there. I was at home, like still crying myself to sleep every night, trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with my life. And it was tough, man. It was tough. It was tough for like a whole year, man, until, you know, I moved out here to Cali. I took a chance. It was like, I'm gonna move out here to California, moved out here by myself, just trying to figure life out, man. And then, you know, things start coming together where it's like, I start feeling like, you know, I found my purpose a little bit. And that's when I started working with these kids that we see today with Prime and stuff like that. That's when I started working with a group. It was like 9 kids, you know, and it grew and it grew and it grew, man. And
this was in 2017, right?
This was in 2017, yeah, actually.
3 years ago.
Yes, 3 years ago. So, you know, and we're here today, man. But it was quite a journey, man. It just, you know, it just feels so good to be able to give back what we've learned in this game and the mistakes that we made, and just be able to like give that to the kids that we have in our program and kids that's not even in our program, because it's not about that. We're trying to help everybody out as much as we can in our community or outside of our community. So that's, you know, that's one of the reasons I'm in it. I was doing accounting when I first got here. Found out quickly that I could not sit at a desk for that long of a
8 hours
time.
a day,
Yeah, I
type
just couldn't
on a
do
computer?
it.
No.
But when we started doing this, man, it was just like I really found my purpose, man, and it just changed my life for sure, man. These kids changed my life. I just love being around them. I love, you know, I love being around the parents, but I love being around the kids the most. And just the coaches, us as well, and, you know, just experiencing these things and trying to show them the experiences that we had and trying to give them those experiences. So, you know, that's really what it's about, and that's really, you know, I'm really grateful to be able to find my purpose like I know so many people are trying to find. So, you know, with that being said, I'll go into your story, my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? Jake Edwards here, another coach here at Prime All-American. A little background story on my playing history. I grew up in Simi Valley, played Little League there all the way up through high school. Grew up pitching, just like you said, was my favorite part of the game as well.
Yeah.
I'm left-handed, so I'm limited to the pitching mound, first base, and any of my 3 outfield spots. I excelled at all 3 of those, but pitching was by far my forte. My favorite part of the game, my best part of the game, and there's just nothing like being able to go out there on the mound. You got the center of attention, you're on your own little island, and there's nothing better. Grew up, and then I went to Royal High School, played pitching up until my sophomore year. And just like the thing you were talking about, my career ended a lot earlier than I wanted to, a lot earlier than yours did. I tore my rotator cuff as well going into my junior year. And that, like Blake was just saying earlier, by far to this day, I'm 24 years old, it is without a doubt the roughest thing I've ever had to go through my entire life. Yep. But there's nothing that even comes close to comparing when you know that there's a chance that you're not going to come back, when you know that there's a chance that you're, maybe not your game completely is done, but your favorite part of the game and a game that could have taken you to who knows how far of a level, when that gets taken from you, that's really, really hard. I tore my rotator cuff, and I ended up DHing my senior year. Still did very well, but those first couple of years of really accepting and trying to come back, and just like you said, I was 90, 91, and I came back and started throwing 81, 82 maybe with 2 innings of stamina my senior year, and like I never got out there. I never saw the mound again because I couldn't. I couldn't go out there and compete. And that was really, really hard for me to accept, because I had the same kind of thoughts of a why me thing, and I never thought it would happen. And mind you, before this, my arm was practically rubber. I took care of it. I didn't, you know, I could have stretched more. I could have been more consistent about icing, but I wasn't reckless with it at all. But still, even with that being said, I would go out there and I would throw. I remember my freshman year, I threw 122 pitch complete game 2-hitter. It was a phenomenal pitching performance. And I came back, that was on a Friday, I came back on that Monday and threw long toss and threw a bullpen that day like there was nothing. And I did that my entire life. I didn't obviously throw 122 pitch games, but I never had arm issues with it, except for a little bit of little leaguer's elbow when I was a kid. I mean, very, very minor things. It was always felt good to me. And then, I mean, dude, out of nowhere, it was gone. It was gone like that, and I didn't know how to accept it. But ended up finishing out at Royal my senior year, and had a really, really good year at the plate, and ended up, you know, finishing out with the biggest bang that I could have done. And then I took a couple years. I was going to be playing college ball, but honestly, emotionally, it was rough for me. And I eventually came to the point where I had kind of the same epiphany, the same kind of thought that you did, was how is there a way that I can still play this game and still be involved in this game without actually suiting up and playing for a team? And that's when I found this guy. That's when I found this program. That's when I found everything that I can do today to this game still. Being able to come back on a field and express and show and teach all the kids everything that I've learned, everything that I've seen, everything that I've learned from Blake and other coaches. I still reciprocate it. Being able to do that and give back, being able to see a kid's face, any of you kids out there that are watching that know me or been around me, that have ever said anything funny or I've laughed with you or had a good time with you, those are things that mean a lot more to us as adults than some of you guys actually think. Being able to give back and hang out with you guys and do this all around the game of baseball is something that we can love and cherish, and things that'll make impacts on Coach Blake and I's lives forever, honestly.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to go into, I know I always get asked this question of like, what did you take most from your experiences of the game and stuff like that? And it's like, it's always the same answer. The answer is always the relationships, man.
Yeah.
The relationships you form with players on your team, coaches and stuff like that. And that's the best part of it,
That's why I think team sports are so great. And team sports are amazing because of that factor. And also baseball specifically, just for our personal relations, and I just think that baseball being a game of failure builds so much character.
Oh yeah.
It builds a lot of charisma, and when you're doing that with your peers and you guys are failing and succeeding together, that creates a person, that creates a man. I think one of the biggest things I can take away from baseball is I think that this game has shaped who I am more than any other thing besides my friends and family in my life. I think baseball has shaped who I am as a person, my personality, how I go about myself. You know, there's a lot of things about me, even though I don't play anymore, that I still take from that game that I used to play with me for the rest of my life. And I'll never let that go.
Oh yeah. Lifelong friends as well, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Still talk to kids I play Little League with.
Man, I talked to a guy, Noel, man, out in Florida. He actually still lives in Florida, where we were. And when I first met him, he spoke no English, man. And it's just crazy. Like, he called me FaceTime, and we just talked about just memories, dog. Like, just memories, just, you know, us teaching each other, like, each other's language and stuff like that. It's like, it's just crazy, man. The amount of time that you have to be with your teammates. I know, like, in pro ball, in college as well, the amount of time, like, you have with those teammates is, like, all day, every day. Practice, after practice, we're playing video games, we're doing everything. Like, they become, like, family, like, we're brothers, you know?
Definitely.
And that's what I want for these kids is to, I think why we talked so much about it last time is because we want them to have that experience with their teammates and remember these times, because these are the best times right now.
This is where everything starts. Everything starts and builds. And
exactly.
don't take a single inning, don't take a single minute at practice for granted. Enjoy every moment of it, even if you're not doing well. do your best to stay positive, do your best to enjoy your time around your friends, because if you guys do get to that level when you're older, just like Blake said, it's a whole different game. And like I said earlier, I'll explain a little bit more detail on it. Being a number on a jersey basically means that I would say your spot security on that team is very minimal at that level of baseball.
Oh, yeah.
If you get hurt or if you don't perform, you're done. You're gone. If you can't come back from your injury in a substantial amount of time and perform, you're gone. If you don't perform without an injury, you're gone.
No matter
That's
what's
just how it
going
is.
on.
It doesn't matter what the situation is.
Miss your family. Doesn't matter.
You
Not feeling well. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
You are a number on the back of a jersey. You are not some special golden boy that is going to be held around for a long time. So for right now, until there's any of you out there in any sport, basketball, football, baseball, hockey, soccer, whatever it is, until you get to a professional level, take every moment, take every inning, take every quarter, take every second that you get with your teammates and the sport that you're playing that's going to create the person that you are for granted. Just don't do it.
Exactly. And I think another thing for the parents out there that's listening, if you have a kid that has the ability to get drafted, the ability to, go to college and stuff like that, really weigh your options right there. If your kid is mentally, you can understand that your kid's not mentally ready for something like that, send them to college first. That's one thing that I know for myself. If I went back and did it again, I probably would have went to school just because of the mental
progression.
The mental progression I would have had.
It's not such a big step.
Yeah, exactly. It's not such a big step. You got people working to get you better, people that care about you somewhat. So you're able to build that mental strength and mental toughness that you need for the next level, because it's very tough.
Definitely.
It's very tough when nobody's there to talk to you, and let you know, like, hey, it's gonna be okay. Like, you're a high school kid, you're 19, 20 years old, like,
you'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean,
you're gonna be all right.
You're gonna be down in those situations where you're not playing so well and stuff like that. It's hard to deal with.
And you feel alone.
Yeah. You feel super alone.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily want to tell your parents, like, oh, I'm doing pretty bad. Like, you want them to not worry. So, for the guys that have that chance to do that, if you're not ready, it's okay to go to college. It's okay to go to a junior college until you're ready to make that next step. So that's what we really wanted to stress today, as far as, like, enjoy this time, guys. And if you're in college right now, enjoy that time. And if you're in pro ball and you can use what we said today, use it.
Use it, yeah.
From any perspective, because we both have different perspectives. So use it. Use what we can give you. What else are you thinking?
I mean, I think that was pretty good. I mean, I also, another thing I want to talk to you about your story. When you were growing up and you were playing multiple sports, I played football and a little bit of basketball as well.
Yeah.
Basketball only for like a year or two, but I played football for a couple of years. And I remember when I got my first scholarship offer at the end of my freshman year, that's when both me and my parents kind of knew I'm not doing another sport. I'm going to stick to this. And that was kind of at that point where I knew it was always my best game. But when you were growing up playing all those sports, what was your best sport? Were you better at baseball than you were at basketball or football or any other sports that you played, or were you all kind of even throughout?
I was pretty good at basketball. I actually had a 54-point game, so that lets you know how. I was actually pretty good at basketball. I had a few scholarships in basketball. Something that I really wanted to do was play both in college, but I know how that kind of works out sometimes where it doesn't end up like that. But that's something that I wanted to do. Was to at least I would have went out for the University of Kentucky basketball team and see what happens, But I think I would have been able to play both, And I loved both of them. I loved basketball, I'm not gonna lie, at first the most, but then I grew.
And then you saw
to
him
love
drafted.
baseball the same. I saw my brother get drafted, and I saw what it did for him, what it did for our family, because it was a huge moment. Yeah, it was a turning point. So, I really became to love baseball, really love the sport, and I'm still doing it now, giving back to the sport and just trying to show these kids, a great time and just, how to learn on and off the field.
How to play the game the right way.
Yeah. But the one thing I would say is that, guys, if you want to go this route, you really have to love it. Like, you have to be obsessed with just getting better in the whole process. And it's not just going to practice 2 times, 3 times a week. It's doing that stuff on your own. This is a daily thing. Like, this is just like somebody's trying to be a doctor, man. They're doing stuff daily to
putting in hours.
They're putting in hours. Like, this is the same ordeal. Like, nobody's gonna pay you millions and millions of dollars and you don't love it. Like, they have to know you're obsessed with this, and your play on the field and you getting better and learning is going to show how obsessed you are with it. You know, now if you're a kid that just goes to practice and that's all you do, you're going to quickly see that there are kids out there who really want it and have no other option, or they just really want it and they're obsessed with it and they love it, and they're going to put that work in. So they're going to surpass you because hard work beats talent
every day.
All that every day. So we both know that. So if you out here don't know that, you need to know that. Put the work in. If you ain't doing it, somebody else is somewhere else.
Get right.
All right. But yeah, we'll end on that, man. I think.
Yeah, one more thing I want to say. Hey, any of you kids out there that are out there that have any questions for us, even parents, you guys are out there watching and you guys want us to specifically talk about something, or any of you guys have any questions for us you want us to answer, please give us a shout out. Please give us a comment, and we will be we'll be more than glad next week on our next episode
to talk about it.
To talk about it, answer questions. We'll say names and everything. Yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything you guys want us to talk about, please give a comment down below.
Yes, and remember, if you benefited from this video, please like and subscribe.
Do not forget to follow us on Instagram as well.
Oh, y'all got a lot of racks. Louis Vuitton got a lot of racks. My carry